Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League Winners Show. Today, I'm joined, as per usual, with Gianni. Gianni, how you been? You've been
Y-
away on a trip. How was your trip?
Yeah, man, it was really good and nice to be back on our Sunday morning regular slot. There's nothing like a routine for me. And you know you're back in that routine when you're streaming with your good friend Ali Hangarov on a Sunday morning. So I'm genuinely night like it's always good having a good time. You know, we've been in the Middle East, Qatar, Dubai, loads of fun, but there's no place like home, and I think most can agree with that. So yeah, good to be here, good to chat FPL again. I must admit, being away last week did feel bad for FPL for me. Like it felt like the biggest week of the season so far in terms of decision making because I felt like your transfers last week were really gonna determine your chip strategy. Now, for many, it's your transfers last week that determine your chip strategy, and for some, it will be your transfers this week that determine your chip strategy. For me, I pretty much had to lock in a chip strategy. And obviously, I'd had less time last week to think about FPL because I was on the go. So Friday night, I got back to England and I spent 7 hours on a flight just thinking and planning my FPL. So yeah, in a good place, man. What about you?
Yeah, same. I was at home, but basically, I wrote an article on the Fantasy Football Scout about the chip strategy, and it's about that time that we decide on it. I mean, it's not you can if you're not using a free hit, as long as you decide when to use it, that's the time to go with a certain chip strategy, because otherwise with no planning you will be in trouble. FPL seems too chaotic for me this season, as I'm not having a good one, because it's far from FPL winners at the moment.
Hmm.
My performance is really bad, and it's continuing to do so. So it's just not affecting my mood. So just trying to give you guys as best of my advices whenever online, whenever I'm here. So I'm keeping positive.
I do love the title of the show, and you will always be an FPL winner, mate. You, for those that aren't aware, Ali won FPL last year. He also finished 215th the year before that. Like we are, yes, you're having a bad season, Ali, but we are still in the presence of, I always feel, one of the best managers in the world, without doubt. I also love being on a show with you called FPL Winners because someone commented the other day to me, being like, so I don't know, I think someone criticized my team or something. It was on my channel. It wasn't even on a scout video, but I'm pretty sure someone replied to that criticism being like, you do know he's won FPL. And I was like, I didn't say anything. I was like, oh my God, people think I've won FPL because I'm on this show with you. It's like, no, 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 guys, just to make it completely clear, Ali is the only FPL winner around here. But I am delighted if people want to assume that I also won FPL. I've come nowhere near winning it, and I never will. But yeah, so far my season's going all right. I've had some red arrows of late, Ali. I was around 45k a month ago. Then I drifted out to about 150k, and I'm still around that. I went down to 100 and then back to 150. So I'm hoping really a good chip strategy can see me to a good finish this season. So yeah, how are you feeling about it? I didn't actually get a chance to read your article on Scout because I was on the go. What is your loose strategy, Ali? And I'll also tell everyone mine.
So basically, I'm planning to navigate the upcoming doubles and blanks with transfers and hits. So I'm keeping my free hit up my sleeve, and I'll be using it in one of the double game weeks when my team needs it.
Yeah.
With wildcard is a little bit complicated, because I like to use it as late as possible, but seems like this season the best time for me would be before game 34,
Yeah.
because I don't want to. Wildcard is the most valuable chip out there, because I'm using it for only 3 or 4 game weeks. It's just undermining it a little bit, because if you freshen up your team, you want to get the most impact of it. And in my case, I think I'll be wildcarding anytime between game week 30, game week 33. So that's depending on my team, depending on getting back Salah, depending on the form of City and Arsenal and the mid-table team. So it's I try to be a little bit flexible with it this year because I was in okay position to uh, field, let's say, 8 or 9 players in game of 29. So I was planning in advance in order not to be pushed to using free hit. So at the moment, I'll be transferring a couple of players in to navigate 28 and 29, and then I'll be looking at the best time to wildcard. Obviously, bench boost is game 37 without a doubt, but you have to build up for that without really hurting your team too much.
I was on that exact strategy until about a week ago. And I had pushing transfers that I had to navigate. I had pressing issues in my back line, and I didn't feel like I wanted to buy any defenders that I knew were playing in 29. I didn't really want to go and invest in Spurs or Aston Villa or Fulham defenders, right? So because of that, I was like, what I really want to do is buy Bournemouth defenders. By
This
buying Bournemouth defenders and using free transfers now on players that aren't playing in 29, I feel like I've committed to a free hit 29, which I think I'm all right with. It does mean, though, Ali, I'm using that wild card later on. Like, I'll be using the wild card in 35, and then you don't get that much time to really see the benefits of it. But I see that wild card in 35 as an opportunity, one, to dead end in 34 when many will free hit, but two, just to go wildcard and bench boost so close together in 37 work out really nicely, because then I know I'm picking 15 players that have got something to play for, 15 players that are fit, 15 players that aren't in fear of not getting in the 11. I quite like the idea of the wildcard and bench boost, and always have done, really close together. So yeah, I think that'll be me this year, which is exciting that we're on different strategies.
I don't find it surprising that a lot of people are in a defender crisis, because that seemed to be the case for the whole season. We didn't have a season keeper defender that was quite essential to our teams, and most of the uh, most of the teams are really inconsistent with defensive performances. We don't see many clean sheets that are rock solid defenses, except maybe Arsenal or a couple of other teams. But there are not many good defenses, and it's been the case for me. Stupinian seemed nice in the beginning of the season, and then just fell off a cliff. And then we've had Trent Alexander-Arnold for a while, but then again he got injured. So it's a lot of inconsistencies in the defensive department. But I'm looking forward to a chaotic end of the season.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I guess where my defense fell short is many out there. You're right. There hasn't been those season keepers. Gabriel and Saliba have been great sources of points, but many have that combination of double Arsenal defense, which when you look in the scout members area, it's just ridiculous how good the underlying numbers of Arsenal's backline are. They're so much better than everyone else. So I only have one Arsenal defender, and then I don't have a Liverpool defender. Many will own a Bradley or a Van Dijk now. I don't own a Man City defender. Many own a Nake or a Walker. So I was looking at my back line being like, oh, great, a Stupinan is
Yep.
starting. I've got Taylor. I've got double Luton defense. Like, I needed surgery, and I'm just want to use transfers. Both this week, so I bought in a Bournemouth defender. Stupinan went, and next week I'll probably buy another Bournemouth defender. Let's see how Bournemouth play against Burnley. Maybe it will be Burnley mid, but I'll have triple Bournemouth for a really nice double. And actually, Bournemouth fixtures moving forward, for those not wildcarding in 30 like myself, or 31 like myself, I'll be able to have Bournemouth with some okay fixtures. But let's talk a little bit about the games yesterday, shall we, Ali? Because we saw, well, a ton of games. Like, there was lots going on. The headlines really for FPL, I guess, well, we should just start with a guy that absolutely hauled. He's on many benches, including my own, and that is Areola. You can't, like, I picked Dubravka over Areola, and the decision was absolutely right to. Dubravka kept a clean sheet, Areola didn't, right? But, and you're happy with Dubravka's 7, every owner should be. But stuff like penalty saves and 9 saves and 3 bonus points for keepers is just not something you can predict. So it's just a bit unfortunate. Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's the highest score scored by a goalkeeper with conceding, and I don't see many points that higher than 13.
Yeah.
because it was quite impressive from Areola
9
yesterday.
saves.
Yeah, 9 save, 3 bonus points, 3 save points, and then penalty save. It was just unfortunate that a lot of managers just kept him on the bench and not many benefiting from that. But kudos to those who do. So let's look at my team real quick
Yeah.
before going to the scores. There are a lot of games to. Let's talk about our teams first, and then we'll go to games in the order. So I have Dubravka in goal. Gabriel is still yet to play. He'll be Arsenal's playing Monday evening. Alex Moreno, he's one of my transfers. I got rid of Estupinian finally and got Moreno for a hit. I have Regulon, who seemed to have an assist each game but concede a lot of goals.
Yeah. Hit the post as well with a header yesterday, Regulon.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, but he's always advanced. I like his attacking potential, but Brentford's defense is just bad. So in midfield, I have Foden, Palmer, Son was 7 points, which was my another transfer. I sold KDB this week and brought in Son. Saka is my captain, so really hoping for good points from him. Up front, I have Watkins with 13 points, Tony with a blank, and Haaland is yet to play. Not sure what I'm hoping for, but there's no logic in just captaining Haaland every game week for me because I have to. I'm outside 1 million overall rank.
You're chasing.
And I'm chasing big time, and I have to go against the flow, which I like to do. To be honest, it's a fun approach to a game.
There's no difference, is there, to finishing 1 million or 500k? Like for you, you may as well just go out swinging and see what you can do with really going for upside picks like Saka captaincy and betting against Haaland.
Absolutely, I'm trying to go against the flow whenever the opportunity comes, even with the chip strategy and with everything, with captaincy, with some transfers. So it should be a fun end of the season. So I have Garnacho and Taylor with Pedro Porro on my bench. And basically, there are good news about Pedro Porro that he will be back in a week. So he has a good chance of featuring in Blank Game Week 29. Taylor also has a fixture. Garnacho is probably waiting to leave my team, but we'll talk about the bus teams first, and then you want to look into your team, or you have some questions and maybe notes about mine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess we should touch on Son because many bought him in this week. Like, it could have been a week where he went really big and he didn't, but you take the 7 and Son is going to be like mass captained in game week 29, I think, by those on free hit or not. It's interesting that neither of us have got Solanke, but I don't want to talk too much about Solanke knowing he plays late this afternoon and many will be listening to this on podcast on Sunday night or Monday morning. I think he probably starts. We know he's travelled. Let's just hope he gets limited minutes and doesn't score big because we've both not got. I've got him on my bench. You've not got him in your squad, Ali. Let's have a quick look though on my team, and then the discussion points will be ones that probably work for both of us. I'll come back to you and ask about Saka captain as well because we need to preview Monday night's game. I feel because that was a big call. I think at the start of the week, many were looking at Saka versus Haaland as captaincy options and going, I am really tempted. I'm 50-50. But then having seen Haaland scored 5 goals, many like myself went, oh, he's just scored 5. I'm going to give Haaland the armband. So my team, without running through it in detail, we share some similar players there, like Watkins and Palmer and Son and Saka. We've got Foden and Haaland too. De Bruyne is an interesting one, Ali. Let's just give that Manchester derby a little bit of preview. You sold De Bruyne knowing there's a very good chance he starts, right? You just needed a route to Son.
I needed a route to Son, and in my opinion, he's after hearing that Richarlison is out for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4. It was quite certain that Son would play up top.
Yeah,
which is a completely different kettle of fish when he plays number 9. And for me, Son is one of the most consistent FPL assets for last of the last 5 or 6 seasons that he's been in the Premier League.
Yeah,
with KDB, he's one of my favorite, but I can't just deal with the casual benching, and he's just too expensive for that. And Basically, I want to cheer for United for a week and see if they can steal some points from the City.
I like that. It makes your viewing experience as an Arsenal fan way more enjoyable as well if you can get behind a team that works for your footballing choices, but also your FPL choices. Ali, let's have a look at your bus team then. And tell me, are you looking at, I mean, if Solanke's fit next week, let's assume he doesn't have a reoccurrence of his injury today and he's good to go in the double. Will you be bringing in the guy that everyone else will be bringing in if they don't own him? And obviously, he'll be the obvious captain choice next week. Solanke with two plum fixtures. What's your plan with Bournemouth? Like, are you maybe looking at captaining a different Bournemouth player? Or this week, do you think you'll just go, actually, I'm going with a template choice and I need to get Solanke in?
I would love to get him in, but I'm not sure who for.
Yeah.
I have Tony Watkins will feature next game week, and Holland. Maybe that's the only viable option.
Yep.
Holland has a tricky fixture at Anfield, but well, I don't like Liverpool defense at the moment, so they're quite
No.
leaky and they can concede in each game. And with the powerhouse of the Man City, I think it will be a high scoring game. So for me, bringing Solanke, I would love to. Two great fixtures. A lot of people who haven't used their triple captain chips, they will be using. They most likely will be using it on Solanke because it's just great two fixtures. And I think if he features this, I think today he has a great chance of getting back-to-back 90s. So
Yeah.
in my case, it's not so easy. So I might just go for a differential Tavernier, or um, I will most likely I'll be getting their goalkeeper Neto.
Yeah, I think Neto's a great shout for the
Yeah.
double.
So I'm a little bit torn between Kaminsky and Neto. Kaminsky had a good game yesterday, but he still managed to concede 3 goals, and
Yeah.
they just concede a lot of shots, which is a not a bad thing for a goalkeeper because he will be getting save points. But the fact that he has a fixture in game week 29, I think plays a little bit on my mind, and I might go for Kaminsky in goal because Turner is not close to coming back to first 11 for Forest, and Dubravka um, has a tricky fixture against Chelsea next week. So for me, bringing Solanke might not be possible, but maybe bringing a couple of differentials like Tavernier is on the cards. So
Tavernier is the. I'm looking at either going an extra Bournemouth defender. I've got a Bournemouth defender already, Zabani and Solanke, and I want triple. And I'll be looking at either the choice between Tavernier, who is the only midfield option for me. The others are too big a rotation risk and don't have the upside. Tavernier's on set pieces. He starts pretty much every game. He has been out of form in the last month, but I'll be watching him very closely today to decide if I want to punt on him or go for an additional defender or Neto, because I do think there'll be a good source of clean sheet odds in those two games. Like, it's two home fixtures against Sheffield United and Luton. Like, it's as good a double game week as you can expect for Bournemouth, who are a pretty solid back line. But then it's, yeah, do I chase the upside by the midfielder, Tavernier, who's on set pieces, feeds Solanke, and could turn it on against slightly weaker opposition than he's used to. So definite choice to be made there. Obviously, if you're not free hitting 29, there'll be many out there that will be buying still and continue to buy players that they know will play in 29 as they try and navigate it. What I would say, for those not free hitting 29, like Ali, you don't necessarily need to ensure you're getting 9, 10, 11 players out. 7, 8 might do if you cover the main bases. Make sure you have a Watkins, a Son, a Tony, all the big players that can really hurt your ranking that week. They're the ones you want to cover. So you'll be going up against free hit teams, and yeah, you'll lose a little bit to the field, but it won't be huge punishment if you cover the main bases, I don't think. Jack the Cat says, what's a bus team? Bus team was kind of a term that has been doing the rounds in the FPL community for years. And I'm pretty sure it comes from the idea of you set your bus team on a Sunday night or a Monday morning. And if you ever get hit by a bus, then your team is set, ready for the weekend. You've got your subs on the order that you think you'll go with. You've got the armband on the player you think you'll go with. So sure, you've not made your transfer, but you've set your team up so you don't need to make huge changes come Friday should you forget to do your team or get hit by a bus. Ali, yesterday's matches, I think we don't need to go through them all, but a couple we have to touch on is Villa and Spurs, because these are two teams that we're going to be targeting regardless of what your ship strategy is. First, let's do Spurs. They were 1-0 down for a big section of that game. Do you still look at Spurs and just go, that defence isn't worth investing in? Like, I know you've got Porro, you keep him because of the fixture in 29 and the upside that him and Adoji can bring, but they are a rubbish source of clean sheet points, aren't they?
Yeah, we have them for their attacking returns only, I believe, because they with the style of play of Spurs, I think wouldn't expect many clean sheets there. But Udogie and Porro, when he's fit and in good form, I think they're good value for the attacking points. So Udogie is still an option because we don't have many fixtures in game 29. For those who free hitting, I think Udogie has to be there.
Yeah.
With Aston Villa, I don't think there are many clean sheets either, and it's just I got Alex Moreno for his attacking output, but I wish it was 50-50 between Doughty and him. And watching every Luton game, every set piece that Doughty takes, it just it's funny how a team that bottom of the table and has a couple of interesting FPL assets in it. I think Luton is one of them, and I like Doughty. I might get him because he's just too involved in the game, even without set pieces. I like him as a player. He's an interesting one. So I really enjoy watching him play. Even though the Luton games at the home ground they're always fun. Like you can expect them to fight until the end, and this is what happened yesterday. I mean. Villa was in full control and they were just cruising the game, but out of nothing, I think Chong scored a scrappy goal, and then second came, and then it was last minute winner by Digne. So it's always a fun game to watch for Luton.
It really is. And Doughty has got a wand of a left foot. I mean, the delivery, after his delivery to Morris for the goal, I was like, great, I got the assist. I was very happy. 5 minutes later, another in-swinging free kick that Morris just whistles past the post. Like, he can put the ball on the spot. And with that was like, oh, big chance created for Doughty. Again, little boost in bonus points. And with that, big chance missed by Morris. And Morris was the one above him in bonus. So I was like, oh, Doughty could get 2 bonus now. And then about a minute later, he fouled someone on the halfway line. And in the BPS, when you foul someone, I think you get a -2 or -3. So that put him back down to 1 bonus points. Not that I was watching the bonus points live in play as I watched the game, because I really like the BPS system. But it was just, it was lots of fun watching that. And Doughty is a very good pick. You're not going to get clean sheets from him, just like you're not from Porro or Odoji, but you will get a bunch of attacking returns. So I think Doughty will rightly get a lot of love for the double. Obviously, he plays in 29, which is a big added bonus.
And they've been scoring for fun lately because they've scored 2 against City, they've scored 2 against Villa. It's not easy defenses to score against. I mean, and they scored 4 against Newcastle. So it's a fun team to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, what do you make of, like, Luton score? I can't remember a newly promoted team being in and around the relegation zone still. So not being that surprise package that's mid-table, as we see every couple of seasons. But they're down there, but they're scoring so many goals. Like, newly promoted teams that are battling to survive, usually the big thing they struggle to do in the Premier League is score goals. Like, they just can't, like, it's the biggest struggle of newly promoted teams. Luton do that. Unfortunately, they just can't keep. I mean, the defending for some of the Villa goals yesterday. In fact, all 3 of them. The Watkins header from the corner, poor. The Watkins second goal, they all just switched off. Quick free kick from Douglas Luiz. And then the third goal, again, Luca Dean should not be winning headers like that. Like, it was all 3 of them, in a way, unforgivable defending. They are poor defensively, and we should target them when our good teams play Luton, especially when Luton are away. I can see some big score lines still.
That's true. But I can also see that the clean sheet away at Luton is not likely, because yesterday when I was choosing between Doughty and Alex Moreno, I got Moreno, and not in a second I doubted that. I was like, if I'm lucky, I might get a clean sheet there, but it's not looking likely because I knew that I was feeling that Luton will score. So and they
Yeah.
always do. Even if the a good team plays there, still a clean sheet is very very unlikely.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there. What do you make of Liverpool, Ali? We both love Darwin Núñez. He comes on, he gets the goal. 97th, no, 99th minute, I think it was. Like when he's now back fit, right? I'm not for those looking to wildcard in 30 or beyond, like Darwin will rightly get a lot of attention. He's a good FPL asset.
He's a good FPL asset, but in the absence of Salah, when Salah is there, I think
I
points
agree
are.
with that. I
Yeah,
agree with that massively. And I don't think many notice that, but it
yeah,
really does. When he's on the pitch with Salah, he's a different player. He just doesn't have it.
yeah. With the involvement of Jota, I think Jota is a good team player. Like he likes to play a pass, he likes to bring in others to play. Salah is just selfish. When he's on the ball, I think he's just looking to shoot, and that's basically dragging points from others.
Yeah.
Just simply put it this way, because when you look at when Darwin is leading the line, you can see he's just excited about that opportunity to lead the line and to score to get the winner. And for me, I most likely I'll be bringing him in after game week 30 or something, because Liverpool still has, I think, good fixtures. And in my case, I like him, but yesterday the goal shouldn't have, you know, it was a legitimate goal, but it was too late after the extra time. I mean, 8 minutes and they scored in the almost, when 9 minutes passed, and I think it's just a little bit of luck there, because referee could have just blown the whistle a while ago.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hike News says in the chat, and he's probably right to point this out. Ali and Gianni, can you talk a little bit about Fulham? I think absolutely we should. And they are a team that often become a bit of a non-event. Like we don't talk about Fulham. And Fulham do have a fixture in game week 29. They have just beaten Brighton 3-0. By the way, Brighton are a team that we do back in FPL and we do go and buy Brighton players. Well, the way Fulham are playing, yeah, I hear that. Like, I would say, like, up front, Muniz at the moment, goal and assist. Shout out, by the way, to Kanal in the chat, who's from our WhatsApp group all the way in India. It says the two best managers are here. Love that, Kanal. Thank you. But Ali, tell us about Fulham. Like, they deserve a little bit more respect. And Muniz is a proper budget forward who's getting game time, scoring goals, getting assists.
Absolutely. And they have good fixtures after 29 as well. I think
Yeah.
they're playing Sheffield and Forest away, both games, I believe. Then Newcastle at home, West Ham away. I think their midterm fixtures are really really nice. And
Yeah.
the game against Wolves away in game of 29 is also a good fixture. So a lot of people didn't really have a doubt in their mind that they will beat Brighton, but to beat them convincingly with 3-0 yesterday was really really um, impressive.
I
Muniz
thought
is,
so.
I think is just he took it personal when they got the Broya from Chelsea,
He
and
did.
ever
Yeah.
since that transfer, he's been scoring for fun. And Fulham
Yeah.
is a tough team to play. It's one of those mid-table teams that always cause you problems when you play them. And I remember watching him at the Emirates, and you could see that there's certain swagger with them and the style of play. They like to
Yeah.
attack. They're not scared of any team. They go toe to toe with any team, and they might lose 3 or 4 for a stronger team, but they will always fight.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree with that, and I like Silva as a manager. And they're one of the teams that fit into that category of completely mid-table. They're not going down. They're not getting European football. And I wonder if as the weeks tick on, they'll fall into the category of they've not got much to play for, so they're on the beach. And I think that can be a very dangerous thing to think because at times some of those teams that don't have much to play for don't have pressure. And when they don't have pressure, they can play with real swagger and express themselves. And I think what we see with Fulham at the moment is they're one of those teams. They're playing with just excitement and freedom and bravery. And they're taking on the challenge of just going out there and expressing themselves. Now, in game week 29, when I'll be free hitting, many will look at that free hit template and they'll look at three attackers. And Muniz won't feature, but I would argue that he should be in our free hit 29 teams. Let's see how he does next week against Wolves away. But 29, it's Spurs at home. Now, many will see that, oh, it's Spurs. that's a brilliant defense to be up against. Like Spurs can see goals for fun. And sometimes when we see historically good teams like Man United or Spurs, we go, oh, that's a tough fixture. Now, sure, you might have a lower chance of winning that game because Man United and Spurs are good teams that win more than they lose. But when you're picking a striker like a Fulham striker, you shouldn't be thinking, is he going to be in a team that wins? That doesn't matter. It's is he in a team that's going to score this day? And when you play against Spurs and you play against Man United at the moment, and Chelsea, I should say, they're good fixtures if you've got strikers. Well, forget about the result. They're good fixtures if you've got strikers because Fulham at home will score, I think, against Spurs. And Meniz is there for a good option.
Yeah, I can easily bet on them scoring against Spurs simply because
Yeah.
their defense is not that good and the Fulham attack is really decent. So Muniz
Yeah.
is a great option for those who wildcard this game weeks because he's
Yeah.
a good eight attacker. He can always be in your bench for 4.5, I believe, and they have good four fixtures. So I've seen people that wildcard in GW28 just to cover blank and then maybe free hit in the blank game week, but maximize the impact of the first of the next 4 or 5 fixtures because it is
Yeah.
possible. I've looked at some of the wildcard drafts which are really really good, and for those who wildcard, I think Muniz is a great option.
Yeah, I'm going to put together, I think, on my channel on Monday or Tuesday, a wildcard video. And I'm probably going to have to do two teams. One wildcard draft for 28, which is includes a free hit in 29, because there'll be many that likes that strategy. So you're wildcarding players and you're just thinking of the run-in. You're not thinking of covering players that play in 29. And another wildcard that involves wildcarding, but actually navigating 29 with your current team. And it might mean that you don't even get 11 out, you get 10 or whatever. Let's see. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting that together. But Meniz is definitely going to feature, I think, in both those drafts. I really do. Ali, I think that's all we've got time for. I look forward to seeing what you do next week and if you do go Solanke or not. But I can see it's not an easy route, and selling Haaland isn't going to be, I don't think, an attractive proposition for many, even with that Liverpool fixture. Man City Liverpool often has goals. So guys, before you leave, if you could hit that like button, that would be amazing. So please do like on your way out. Ali, any final thoughts from you before we say our goodbyes?
Final thoughts: just play your own game. It's easy to with all the content at the moment. There are a lot of good content creators. Many people liked a lot of fixtures. They're just really really liking the double game weeks. Many like I prefer double game weeks for strong teams, but there's no right or wrong way to play because at the end of the day we don't know anything. We can just
Yeah.
predict, we can just plan, or we don't know anything. I mean, uh, we've seen players outscore the double game week players last double game week, I believe. I
Yeah.
think Saka was there and a lot of
Watkins as well. Yeah, there
Watkins.
was a
Yeah.
few of them.
So
Solanke, I think. Yeah.
even for Liverpool and City, the double doesn't mean anything. It's just 2 games back to back. There's no certainty that they will score points in back to back games. So it's just if you have a good fixture, let's say Burnley at home for West Ham, for Bowen, for Kudus or anything, I think it's a keep. So just play your own game, try to have fun. I know sometimes it's hard to have fun, but that's the most important thing.
Absolutely right, mate. Well said. And yeah, I think the double game weeks, like, yeah, you're giving yourself more chances to get lucky. And in theory, they work. And we will always continue to back them. But at times, they'll work against you too. So a couple of weeks ago, when we all triple captain Haaland, it didn't work out. So look, there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next Sunday. Fantasy Football Scout will be back with loads of content in the next few days. Stay tuned. Make sure you're checking out the members area, reading all the articles, including Ali's article on chip strategy. I'll be back on my channel on Monday or Tuesday, the Gianni YouTube show with a wildcard special. I'm not wildcarding, but I think it'll be useful for those both wildcarding and not to see all the players that we like at the moment, the likes of Meniz that we don't talk about much. Do check Ali out on Twitter. Make sure you're setting alerts to Fantasy Football Scout on Twitter as well. Guys, thank you so much. We will see you very soon. Bye-bye.